Okay, Sebastian here is going to perform seated dumbbell presses, a very common maneuver, dumbbell presses, but you'll find out, particularly if you're new to the sport, that the dumbbells will tend to have, each one will have a mind of its own, tend to fly different directions, so control is imperative to getting something out of the exercise as well as to making sure that you don't get hurt while performing them. Now what Sebastian is doing, there's two parts of the exercise. This is the extension and this is the contraction. This is the positive, the extension, and this is the negative, the contraction. On the way down, he's contracted his musculature, and on the way down, he's extending his musculature. This exercise is particularly for the shoulders. Seated, upright, shoulder dumbbell presses. Okay. Now, there's a few things that Sebastian could do to make the exercise more effective. Okay. You saw the basic maneuver there. Now, first of all, to make this a true shoulder press, or any type of a press, it's important to keep your elbows back. Could you go into the position again? Okay. Now, before his shoulders were a little inward, like this. Okay, now by bringing the shoulders back, it emphasizes where the deltoid ties into his chest, this pectoral deltoid tie-in muscle here. Okay, it'll emphasize this muscle here, and also emphasizing, as you intended, the shoulders. It makes it a little more difficult when you keep your elbows back, but it's a lot more effective. Go ahead, Sebastian. Now, there's two parts of the maneuver, like I said, the extension and the contraction. Now, what's going to determine effect is how high you can go with your extension. Now, the higher you can go with your extension, okay, the more you're going to have to contract on the downward. If you just do little quarter-inch range, then you're only going to contract a quarter of your potential. So for the maximum benefit, okay, out of 10, let's say this is like a rubber band. If I take a rubber band and I pull it to a level of 10, then it will contract to a level of 10. But if I pull it only to a level of 6, the contraction will be only to a level of 6. Sebastian there was only going partially up, so he was also negating the potential for benefit. But if he can extend his elbow joint higher, he will increase his potential for development on his downward. Now, you don't want to lock out. You don't want to go to a locked out stage. That's a resting stage, and it negates any potential. There's no benefit attainable when you're in a locked out stage. So you go up high, height-wise, just prior to locking out your elbow joint. Okay, it'll be like a 4 count coming down. Okay? You emphasize this counting to better control your descent, to better control your contraction, to better control the effect. Don't let the dumbbells just descend uncontrolled and plummet. Okay? Your chances of injury become greater if they descend uncontrollably. But if you start emphasizing a count, 1, 2, 3, 4, counting, it helps you emphasize the idea of controlling your descent. Let's try it, Sebastian. Okay, get good height, better height. Okay? And like just subconsciously just count like 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. You don't want to go too low, just kind of to the point of like posing, except you're posing with resistance. You don't pose down in the hole. Don't let the dumbbells go down in the hole. That's counterproductive also, and chances of injury become greater. Just to the point that's slightly less than parallel, just like you're posing, just like you get out of the shower and you start flexing there, going through your poses. I know how you are. I've seen you. I peeked in through the window. I've seen you in there after every shower. Okay, but that's another story. Okay, that's something else. I won't tell anyone. Forget that. Okay, anyway, Sebastian likes his showers, but that's another story. Okay, so when you come out, all right, so on the downward, count 1, 2, 3, 4 to emphasize better control, better effect on the descent. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then drive up and get good height. Okay, you want to try and get good height in your elbows. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's one thing. Now, also, you okay? Yep. Okay. At the bottom, okay. All right. At the bottom, the angle at the elbow is going to be approximately 90 degrees or slightly less at the bottom. If this gets greater than 90 degrees at the bottom, you're losing pressing power. You're increasing the chances of injury. If at the bottom, you get greater than 90 degrees, the bend at the elbow joint. Go into the position. Okay. Okay, I'm going to toast, bring him out here. If this gets greater than 90 degrees, the baby finger is going to get lower. It's going to get just like that. Okay, the baby finger will be lower at the bottom than the thumb. The thumb end of the baby finger, the baby finger end of the dumbbell is lower than the thumb. At the bottom of your dumbbell press, the thumb should be lower than the baby finger. The baby finger should be higher. It should be like this. If the baby finger gets lower than the thumb at the bottom of the press, okay, it generally is indicative that your range here has exceeded 90 degrees. You're losing pressing power, and you're increasing the chances of injury. So, at the bottom, keep that 90 degrees or less. Keep the baby finger higher than the thumb at the bottom. Pretend it's like a little bottle of milk at the bottom. Kind of pour it on you. Right? Let's go back into it. The top, it's a mute point. There's no baby finger thumb that has to be accented at the point. Just get proper height. Don't be clanging them. Don't be clanging the dumbbells at the top. That's uncontrolled. There's no control there. Try and control your tops. Reach up just prior to the lockout, and do not clang them. It's a 4 count coming down, 1, 2, 3, 4. Overemphasize your breathing on the downward too. Overemphasize. Elbows back to the point, keep your elbows back to the point that your chest sticks in. I know it's a lot to fathom. And Sebastian's endurance is not the best. He's been missing some workouts.